Welcome back to Smoky Ribs. I'm Russ Jones. Today I'm going to be doing by request a comparison between the Lonestar Grillz 24x36 offset and my Lonestar Grillz Insulated Mini. Had a request because they were undecided on which smoker they wanted to go with, so I'm going to try to cover as much as I can on that. And we're also going to be doing some Mexican style street tacos for the Super Bowl tonight. Y'all stay tuned. All right, before we get started on this comparison, I want to do a couple of shout outs. There has been an influx of new YouTube channels coming up in the past year that I've noticed, and I've gotten to talking with a few of them, and I thought I'd give these guys a shout out. I've been watching them, and they're up and coming. Their technique's getting better. Everything about their channels are getting better. And the first one is Scott over there at the Real Show Barbecue. I'll have a link in the description for Scott's videos. Please go over there and check out what he's doing. Like I said, it's getting better and better every day. Kind of reminds me of me when I got started, as well as this next guy, which is Sandy from the YouTube channel, Just Piddling Barbecue. Now, I can really relate to that. This guy is from Georgia, which is a southern state. I'm in Mississippi. When he said just piddling, I knew exactly what he was talking about. He primarily cooks on a pellet smoker, but I think over time he's going to be moving into other things just like I have. I started with a little cheap $99 smoker, and from there I've got all kind of toys now. So I'm anxious to see both these channels grow, and I'll remind you at the end, as well as have links in the description box. So please go over there and check these two channels out, Real Show Barbecue and Just Piddling Barbecue. All right, first off, I want to say that I have a video on this smoker right after receiving it. It's giving you a complete walk around on it, as well as the Insulated Mini. And I'll leave links in the description box for each one of these videos, and it'll actually walk you step by step on each smoker, all the benefits of it. And that's not what this video is about. This video is a comparison to where you can make up your mind, the people that requested it, on whether they want the offset or if they want the Insulated Mini or any of the products from Lonestar Grillz. Actually, they have different sizes of the insulated version, and of course they have these things as long as you want them. They actually build them on trailers. So, but this will give you kind of the differences anyway. The biggest obvious difference between these two smokers is, for one, this is a stick burner. This uses real logs. That's what it's designed for, to barbecue your meat, and it's going to give you the most true, real barbecue flavor of any of the smokers out there, in my opinion. Matter of fact, if you go to most any high-end restaurant, I'm talking about barbecue restaurants throughout the country, you will find that they are using real wood. They're not out there with bags of Kingsford or any kind of lump charcoal or anything like that using wood chunks. They're using real wood because it produces the best flavor, and that's exactly why I wanted this offset. Now, this particular offset, as well as all the other Lonestar Grillz offset, has other benefits, really depending on what you order. But one of the other ones is the ability that you can use a griddle on this. I've used this griddle on a few videos. I've done burgers with it. You're able to melt cheese by lowering the lid on this. It's a really cool add-on. Plus, I don't know if you can see it in the frame right now, but I've got wood laying here on the very top, and it's pre-warming my wood to where when I stick a stick in here to keep it up and going, it's going to ignite real rapidly. It rained last night, so I'm trying to dry out some of this moisture. So that's also another benefit, as well as it has a grate for grilling. You can actually grill burgers, you can do steaks, you can do a number of things. On my last video, I actually used it on a tri-tip, and later today I'll be doing the skirt steak on this grate as well. Right over direct wood, and once again, not only is wood the best for smoking, in my opinion, it's the best for grilling. You just can't duplicate the flavor. So that's another benefit of this smoker. Another thing that I really love about this Lonestar Grillz offset is its ability to hold water. It'll hold somewhere between 5 and 6 gallons. I've never measured it, but I'm guesstimating around 5-6 gallons maybe. But what that does is turns it into a water smoker. It ensures that you're going to have plenty of moisture in your pit to where you won't dry out your meat. But what I really love about it the most is the easy cleanup, because I've done it without water as well, and moisture in the meat has not been an issue, especially down here in the South where you have high humidity levels. Don't necessarily need to add water to it, but it's nice to know you can. But I do use it mainly for cleanup. Just hose this baby out, let it run out that drain, you're good to go. And another thing with the offset like this is it comes with tuning plates. The tuning plates, as I've explained in previous videos, you're able to slide them from one end to the other and adjust them for different circumstances, whatever you're wanting. You can make this pit do whatever you want. You can have a constant heat from one end to the other. You can have a hot side and a cold side, or a hot side and a cold side, whatever you want. Them tuning plates is going to make that achievable. And a lot of people go with the reverse flow. The reverse flow simply has one big plate and it directs the heat under it and over it and back over the meat, and it runs the same temperature all the time. That's not always desirable. It's really depending on what you want. If you want to do a hot and fast chicken over here and a low and slow brisket over here, you can do both of them on this pit. This is the smallest offset that they make. It is way big enough for all my needs. I think the very first cook I did on this, I still didn't have it up to capacity because some things were getting done. I'm removing it, but I was utilizing upper and lower rack. But there's quite a bit of cooking area, even on this 24 by 36 inches this way. And from here it goes to 48 and right on down. These are all custom made by Lonestar Grillz, so they can actually make you anything you want as far as size goes. All right, now a lot of people might think if you're cooking with real wood that you're going to have overpowered smoky meat. It couldn't be no further from the truth. Matter of fact, if you're not careful, you're not going to have enough smoke. And what I mean is, the way this is designed, it flows in through the intake and out the exhaust at a very rapid rate. It's just constantly flowing. Smoke's going right over the top of the meat. It's kissing it a little bit. So there is an intake adjustment to where you can choke that down. And not only can you control your heat with that, but you can also control the amount of smoke that the meat's getting. If you want a little bit more smoke, choke her down. It's going to slow down the flow rate that the smoke is exiting the offset. So I do like that advantage as well. So that's basically, what this smoker will do. It can be a grill, it can be a griddle, it can be a food warmer. You can take these logs off, and I have taken things that I've cooked previously, like beans or whatnot, and I put them here and it keeps them really hot. So that's also a benefit I didn't mention, and as well as one of the best smokers you're ever going to find. Now next week I'm going to show you how to use this firebox as a wood-fired pizza oven, so stay tuned for that. Now let's talk about the Insulated Mini here for a moment. Just like on the offset, I'll have a link in the description box as well as the end card showing the complete walk around and review that I've done on this particular smoker back, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to just explain the differences between that and the offset. First off, this is strictly a smoker. That's what it's designed to do. And it's not a griddle, it's not a grill. You smoke on it, that's all it is. Now this is what they call the Mini. As you can see, it's up to here on me. There's nothing small about this, but the full size is way out here like this. The capacity that it holds is quite a bit for what it is. It has 4 grates inside of it, and I could probably do 8 briskets on this no problem if I needed to. Or I could probably do 12 Boston butts on this if I wanted to. If I was in a position where I needed to do that, I could do that on this smoker. Now the biggest difference is this is not a stick burner. It does use charcoal and wood combination, and I've already told you how I feel about real smoke, but this is just slightly under that. Don't think you can't produce good barbecue because you're not using real wood. I mean, the majority of channels that I watch, they are using like a charcoal and wood combo. That's what they use, Weber Smoky Mountains, Weber grills, Kamados, just a numerous amount of grills, pit barrel cooker. There's a lot of them, and that's what they run on, and they produce outstanding barbecue. So don't think that wood is just, in my opinion, in a lot of people's opinion, it's the best. But don't think this is far below it. It's not. I mean, it's right there, very, very close similarities on that end, I guess is the best way to put it. All right, now the biggest thing I like about this smoker is if I'm doing a long cook, such as a brisket or a couple of pork butts, I like to start them in the afternoon, get everything dialed in, and once you get this thing dialed in, it will hold just as well as any Kamado cooker out there. And if you use the fan controller, which I have shown in a previous video, then you can go in there, go to sleep, forget it, no worries, wake up, and your meat is done. And this thing has run good all night long. You can get roughly 16 to 20 hours of a full load of charcoal on this, and of course your smoke wood. And your smoke wood, how much you put in there is totally up to you. Some people go 50-50. I don't do near that. I go more like a 10-90, maybe a 15-85, because I have learned when you do a charcoal and a wood combination that you can very easily over smoke your meat, unlike with offset where you're burning nothing but wood. But it's the way the pit is designed, because this one doesn't draft near like the offset does. I mean, that smoke's really lingering around. So if you overdo it, you're gonna know it and you're not gonna like it. So that's just something you gotta learn as you go. I do, like I said, maybe 10-15% to 85%, you're good. Another thing about this smoker, and if you watch the video where I did the walk around, you'll see it, it is the water pan. It's got a built-in water pan. You actually put the water in right through here, and that way as you run out of water, and you'll know you'll run out of water because steam starts coming up right through here. I'm sorry, smoke starts coming up. When you see smoke coming up, that means your water level has dropped down, so you just pour more water in and it becomes a water smoker. Now that said, you can also use it without water for higher cooks. I would recommend water if you're trying to do a low and slow. It really helps maintain those low temps. But if you're wanting to cook like chicken, like 300, 325, maybe up to 350, really depending on what you're wanting to do, you could just eliminate the water and do a real fast barbecue. Now, one of the real beauties and advantages of an insulated cabinet smoker is the insulation. 2 inches of a military grade insulation, which is going to make it super efficient, which I just talked about. 16 hours to 20 hours of fuel time on a load of charcoal. That's 20 pounds of charcoal, 20 hours. That's 1 pound an hour. Doesn't matter if you live here in South Mississippi where I live, or if you're way up north in Canada, up there in the snow and the freezing Arctic air, it's still going to be a performer for you. So, you know, they both produce good meat. There ain't no doubt about that. It's really all on what you want. This one here, you don't have to tend to. You get it set, you walk away from it. The offset, you do have to tend to. Now, I do have a charcoal basket for this, and I've actually shown that on a video with a fan controller, and I went in there and went to sleep. That's an option, but that's not what that pit's designed for. It's just there if you find a need for it. And I thought it was really handy. It worked great. But typically, when I fire this one up, I plan on being out here all day and tending the wood. Add a log about every 45 minutes to an hour, whatever it requires. Now, I use a thermometer with an app. A lot of times I'll go in there at my computer and I'll be done killed an hour, and I'll look at my temps every now and then. When I see that internal temp of the pit, the chamber temp start to come down, I'll come out here and take a look, throw another log on, go back in there for another hour. It's no big deal. It ain't like you just got to sit here and babysit it, but you do got to be awake and know what's going on with it. So that's the biggest differences between the two as far as that part goes, as far as smoking meat goes. One final thought on both these smokers. If you look at the previous videos I did with the walk-arounds, you will know that these will last a lifetime. Not just your lifetime, but somebody else's lifetime, your grandchildren. If these are taken care of, they will virtually last forever. And that's what makes this a cut above so many other smokers out there. It's really on what you want. Yeah, they cost more. They cost a lot more than like a Weber Smoky Mountain or a Weber grill or whatever, but I'm here to tell you these will be here when you're dead and gone. These will still be here as long as they're taken care of, both of them. Very heavy, well built, just like a tank. So ultimately it's your decision on what you want. I'm fortunate enough to have one of each, and with that said, I'm glad, because there are times that I don't want to tend the wood. I just want to fire this up, smoke my meat, go in there and watch TV, do whatever. And so, you know, they just added a new option for the offset smokers, and it's the pneumatic wheels, big air up pneumatic wheels. and it's an easy add-on. It's required to drill 1/2 inch hole to install this, from what I understand, and it's got a handle where you can actually pull this thing anywhere in your yard. So that's going to be an upgrade I want to do soon, so I can actually roll it around the back and shoot videos out there. I don't get as much privacy here. A lot of people ask me, why are you shooting in your front yard? Well, my garage is right here. I keep my smokers in here out of the weather to keep them up. You know, it goes back to maintaining what you got. I had that luxury of a garage. It's all concrete. I'm able to roll them out here with the 1,000-pound casters that's currently on them, but I can't get them in the grass. They will bog down and get stuck. But with these new wheels, it'll give me a lot more options. All right, so I want to hear from you out there. If you only have one choice between the offset or the Insulated Mini, which one would it be? Which one would you pick? And tell me why. Leave it in the comments. We're getting ready to get started on these street tacos right now. All right, so I'm going to be doing some like street tacos today for our Super Bowl party. And what I've got here is this is called outside skirt. And I'm going to explain to you a little bit about that. But look how beautiful this is. Look at the marbling in this. Skirt steak is normally considered a tough cut, and it's normally used in like fajitas. I'm going to be using it for tacos. Now the difference between an outside skirt and what you normally get in a grocery store, which is called inside skirt, is, for one, 90% of this stuff is shipped to Japan. Here's a photo right here of a typical box that's going out to Japan, and 90% of it, that means only 10% of it that's raised here in the US is available through meat purveyors such as Matador Meats. That's exactly where this meat come from, is Matador Meats. And it's also reserved for some of your really high-end restaurants. Your little typical Mexican restaurants, when you go in there and buy fajitas, they're using the inside skirt, not this. And now you're probably wondering what makes this so special. Well, for one thing, it's more tender than the inside. And that's probably it in a nutshell, is it's more tender. Now people use marinades with lime juice and everything to break down the skirt steak for fajitas to make it more tender, and I'll be doing the same thing today. Even though this is a more tender cut of beef, I'm still going to use a marinade, and we're getting ready to do that right now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this into some manageable pieces. As you can see, the grain always runs on this short side, so I'm just going to cut them up in some manageable pieces. That should do it right there. And we're probably just going to cut this one in half. We're going to cut a lime in half. I'm going to take the juice of one whole lime. You want to make sure you get it on all your meat. This acidity in the lime is actually, like I said earlier, is going to help break down the connective tissues for even a more tender steak. Plus it's going on tacos, and the lime juice will enhance that as well. You can also use lemon for this. Alright, now I'm going to add just some olive oil just to coat it with. Now we're going to add in some salt. I'll be salting this again later. This is just for the marinade. Just a light dusting of salt. Now I've got going in one big fat clove of garlic. Just fresh garlic going in right there on top. Alright, now I'm going to take one Corona Mexican beer, and we're going to pour this about like that. I still got half a beer for myself. All right, let's mix this in. We're going to let that garlic get down in this beer. Now this only needs to marinate for 30 minutes to an hour. I mean, you can go longer, but the beer is going to help dilute the lemon juice. If it was just straight lemon juice, actually you would end up with mushy meat if you let it sit too long, because it actually begins to cook meat just like it does with seafood. So we're only going to go probably 30 minutes to an hour tops. This is a very simple marinade, about as basic as it gets. I have another video that I've done, and it's simply fajitas, I think is the name of the video. And I used a more elaborate marinade, and I was using an inside skirt on that, the more prevalent that you would buy in your local supermarket. And that marinade does tend to tenderize it somewhat. It was actually pretty good. I remember that video well. But I had contemplated not even using a marinade on this because it is a higher quality skirt, and not only because it's outside skirt, but where it came from, Matador Meats. This meat is premium meat. They deal in prime. They deal in just your best cut of beef, grass-fed, Angus, things like that. So you can't go wrong either way. All right, I'm going to take and just cover this up, and I'm just going to let it off here to the side. I'm not going to refrigerate it because, like I said, we're only going up to maybe an hour tops, and we'll be ready to throw these out here on the smoker. All right, a while back I did a giveaway on these gloves that you see right here. Got the blue ones, got the red ones. They also come in black, and these are silicone grilling gloves. They also have a cloth insert, very resistant to heat. I absolutely love them. We're giving away 10 more pairs from this video. All you got to do is leave a comment on this video, and you'll be put into a random drawing that I'll do in 1 week on my next video. All right, so we're getting ready to cook this fajita meat up. We got a nice blazing fire. You want it really hot for fajita meat. I got my grill grates. We're going to be going about 3 to 4 minutes on each side. We're starting with that. The grill grates is going to kind of help protect it from some of that blaze. We'll be right back, 3 minutes. All right, I'm flipping these over. Calls for a hot fire, and let me tell you, that is a hot fire. But looking fantastic. All right, I think these are ready to come off. Now we're going to go in with the remainder of this steak. And that's it. Still rare right in the middle there. So that's exactly what we're looking for. As you can see, this, see what I'm saying? Look right here, this sizzle. That's on top of this is a food warmer. So I'm still getting heated up in here. So I'm flipping these on a regular basis, even though it's just taking minutes, as to not overcook these. Keeping them piping hot until we're done here. About another minute and a half, we'll be done. Now it's time to reheat some tortillas, corn tortillas for our tacos. As you can see, all the steam coming off these, this is pretty hot, and that's exactly what you want. You want a hot griddle. That way you don't dry them out. It keeps the humidity in there. 10, 15 seconds per side. Just make them nice and pliable, warm them up. And this wind is trying to take them away. And if you notice, there's two sides to a tortilla. This has a ridge on it. That is the inside. And this is the way you would fold it. This is your outside, no ridge on it. All the ridges are up on this, and this is the way I'm going to stack them. All right, these are ready. I've got a tortilla holder here with some cloth. That's just going to keep them warm until we get inside. Like I said, they don't take long, and the whole object is to don't absorb all the moisture. If you do that, they're going to crack on you. You're just reheating them. See how it's got that nice fold? That's what you're wanting. All right, so let's cut into this outside skirt steak and see what we have here. Oh, it's cutting really nice. Cut it nice and thin. It's a nice medium rare, just what I'm looking for. It smells really delicious. Nice thin slices. Good knife really makes a difference on that. Alright, for the sake of this video, I'm not cutting this part up yet. I'm just going to go ahead and put a taco together. That way we can get it out of the way. But before we do, I have got to try some of this meat. I'm telling you, the flavor from that fire, the taste of the beef, the marinade, God, it's shining through. Absolutely, that's better than ribeye. Ribeye is like my favorite steak. This is so much, I ain't gonna say so much better. That's the wrong way to put it, because ribeye is really fantastic steak. I'm just gonna say it's got a really good beefy flavor, very tender. So it's prized from this kind of steak, which is typically considered tough. Outstanding. All right, now keep in mind what I was saying about the ridge. That's the ridge side, that's the flat side. Ridge goes up. We're going to layer some of this meat on here. Perfect medium rare. Now earlier I took all the ingredients needed to make a Pico De Gallo, and I put them in a cast iron skillet with a little bit of oil, and I roasted the tomatoes, I roasted the onion, I roasted the jalapeno. And what that roast does on these vegetables is it chars it, and it gives it another depth of flavor and really pops. A Pico De Gallo I just love, just a fresh one. But this is more of a roasted Pico De Gallo, salsa, whatever you want to call it. And from there, we finished it off with some cilantro, a little salt, a little pepper, and some lime juice. All right, now from there, I'm going to take one little slice of avocado, and I'm going to call that a done deal. Let's do a taste test. All right. Super Bowl, tacos, beer, it don't get much better. That just screams Mexican street taco. I hope you check out Matador Meats. This is some fantastic beef. This is my second video using their meat, and I'm just stoked. I can't wait to try more. Check them out. If you cannot find this where you're living, you can always go there. I want to once again remind you to please go over there and check out my buddy Scott and my buddy Sandy. Scott has the YouTube channel, The Real Show Barbecue, and Sandy has a barbecue show called Just Piddlin' Barbecue YouTube channel. Both these guys are up and coming. Please check them out. I'll have links in the description box for both of their channels. Hope you enjoyed the video. It's been a while. I'm a little out of practice here. Been having a few issues, but we're back, and it's going to get better. Spring is right around the corner. Till next time, Smoky Ribs.